Okay, great. Thank you very much, Faith and Peter there. Thank you to Oluwatodimu. So just to proceed very fast with the conversation, I can see that we are a bit behind schedule. So I would not want to dwell too much on much backpedal. I wouldn't want to backpedal a lot. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Mokolanle. The conversation, okay, great. Thank you, Catherine, as well. The conversation I'm trying to lead here or share a few thoughts around is how to become a superhero professional. And if anyone would note, in the HeRo, the H and R are somewhat capitalized, unlike the other alphabets there. So there is some sense of direction towards HR professional. That's basically where I'm trying to direct the conversation to. I know, but I'll just share a few thoughts. But I'll be more open to answering questions. So if you have any question as we proceed during the conversation, please, I would encourage you to drop this in the comment section, which I'll be checking as we proceed on the conversation as well. Yeah, great. So to become a super professional, I wouldn't say it's rocket science for anyone. And I wouldn't say is anything out of this world. This is what anybody can achieve. I'll take it back a bit to say, okay, what was it like in the workplace before? You know, in the workplace before now, all it requires to be a superstar or superhero employee or professional is just, you know, get to work before 8 a.m. as they used to have it then, or as they still have it now. And, you know, show up at work, show up on time, do what you are asked to do, and, you know, just present yourself as often as possible. That's what the conversation has always been around in the workplace with regards to being a superhero professional. But right now, it takes more than being nice to people. It takes more than being at work or just turning up at work, you know, to be considered a superhero professional. It requires you adding value, you know, meaningful value to a business. It requires you, you know, being a self-led employee, one that, you know, your bosses, the people that work with you can see that you are taking ownership of time in regards to what you do. So, you know, the conversation is really changing today. It's now value-driven, you know, value-centered, and output you know, focused more like that, and not necessarily because hey, you come to work every other day punctual, and then you do what you are asked to do. There are also other dynamics that also play in the workplace as we have it today, and you know, a lot of people often have misconceptions around being a superhero professional. Welcome back, Babajide. Wave, you can hear me. You can hear me. Just wave. Okay, so back here. So what I'm saying is that what people have said over time, what people have presumed over time to be for which superhero professional should be, is someone that is very intelligent. But over time, study has shown that even intelligence is not enough to be considered you know, a superstar or a superhero employee. And this is because, you know, there was a study across the Fortune 500, you know, organizations. Those are like the top rated organizations in the world with regards to, you know, their revenue and what they do generally in the workplace. So, you know, they had a survey across their star employees, people they recruited from Ivy League schools, you know, the best of the best in class. And they realized that over time, it is not those that have the highest IQ, you know, that stood out over the course of their career, you know, they fully lived up to the potential that they saw in them when they hired them. So the conversation is that it is not just IQ that makes people stand out. It's not just intelligence that makes people stand out in the workplace or become a superhero professional. That's what I'm just trying to drive at. So superstar employees are not just people that are very intelligent. It goes beyond intelligence. And I'm sure a good number of us here might have seen people that they consider to be intelligent in the workplace, but you know, they are probably not getting as promoted often as they should be, that you presume they should be, or they're not getting all the opportunities, they're not getting all the jobs out there, you know, coming to them as much as you would have seen them, you know, to be. But basically, what defines a superhero professional is that they add more value than the average worker. So they are not just your average day-to-day person that comes to work. You know, they add value more than the average person. We call them high performers in most organizations as we have it, and all of that. Or you know, some organizations call them talent, top talent, as you would have it there. So that's what the conversation is going to revolve around today. And the reason this is very important to be able to identify ourselves as a superhero employee or professional. First off, is because the workplace is changing so rapidly. You know, the way the workplace was 5 years ago, 10 years ago is not the same way it is today. We have new skill sets coming into play every year. You know, information becomes obsolete as often as before. Now it used to be 3 years. You know, the life cycle of an information Before now, it used to be about 3 years. Now it has reduced to about 6 months to 1 year. So many organizational policies, for example, will change after the COVID-19 and pandemic and eases off. So many workplace policies will change. So many new demands will come of employees. We realize that more organizations are seeing that it is possible for people to work from home now. It will also change the way we have conversations, and some jobs as well will become outrightly obsolete or automated. So there's a need for us as professionals, not just to see our career development in terms of promotion, but also being able to sell ourselves even when we are not selling, such that we stand out in any organization we find ourselves. That's what we are discussing today. And I'll just share a few thoughts, which I would want to, as I said, I would love to see more questions. I've not seen any questions so far and all, but I would love to see more questions as we proceed during this conversation. I'm here. So the first thing I would say, okay, back here. So the first thing I would say is the first key trait. So I'm not going to be calling them skills, or I'll just say how to be a superhero professional. The first key thing that is noticed about superhero professionals or star professionals is that they exhibit personal initiative. And what do I mean by exhibiting personal initiative here? It's pretty simple. There are some people that when you ask them, so what do you do at work? They mention their job descriptions to you, and that's just most of it. That's all they know about what they do. But we realize that there are some other people that when they're having conversations with you around what they do at work, you can tell outrightly that they go above and beyond to deliver on what they do. So for them, one of the first key traits I mentioned is for them, it is not just about doing what they've been employed to do. It is ensuring that they are delivering and adding value per time in the workplace by going over and beyond, by being able to put in that extra effort, that extra hour, to deliver at work. They are looking at opportunities within their own workspace, outside their own workspace, that can add value to the organization. And it's something that is pretty interesting today in the workplace, because people often just do the barest minimum to get by, come to work every day. But what makes superhero professionals different from every other person, first off, is how well and how often they take personal initiative. They seek to add responsibilities to what they do. They also ensure from time to time that they find additional projects that can help them add value. So if you're an HR professional, for example, yes, you can work around culture, employee engagement, and other things. But when your organization is having a marketing campaign, for example, most HR professionals, they have access to external candidates. How well have you even been able to sell your organization to external candidates while doing your job, such that they are more open, they are more excited about using your organization's product and services? That's it there. So it does not have to just be about your core expertise. What are you also doing outside your core expertise and daily routine, that is adding value to your organization? Also, another thing they do is they take risks by taking on new assignments. They volunteer more often in the organization. If a new challenge has been posed, there's something new that needs to be done, they are more open, to taking initiative, to lead the conversation and all of that. So those are a few things I can mention about the first thing I would rather mention about being a star employee at work. The second thing I want to mention is networking. And when it comes to networking, one thing I've seen often is that I see people network up more often. So people look at people that are probably more experienced than they have more leadership responsibilities than they have. But networking basically is knowing who knows who within the organization. So it does not necessarily have to be the ED, the MD, a senior manager, and head of department as you may have it. The first thing about networking that people should understand in the workplace, and that will help them stand out, is to know who knows what, who knows who. So what I'm saying is this: there are people that are like influencers in the workplace, and there are people that are like decision makers, and there are also door openers. So influencers are people, for example, that they might not have organizational power, but they have influence, such that people that have power, they can influence their decision, either in your favor or out of your favor, as you may have it there. So it's very important to be able to build relationship with influencers. And influencers does not have to be anybody senior. Someone at your level, someone junior to your level. Could be someone that is senior professional, a senior, member of your organization, has taken interest in, probably as a mentee. That's an influencer, for example. The person can influence the person that you're trying to get in touch with. That's one. The second one I mentioned, decision makers. Those are like people at the top, affairs of your organization. They own and control power dynamics to a very, very good example. How have you presented yourself? So for networking, for example, is not just them knowing you. What do they even know you for? You get, anytime you've had the opportunity to engage them, how have you, positioned yourself? What thought have you left them with? That's part of networking. It also cuts across people that know stuff in the organization. The top performers in the organization, from the entry level to mid-level management to senior level management. Who are the top performers across your organization? How are you leveraging your relationship to know what they know? To also use it to your own advantage as you progress in the organization. And networking for me should not just be about you taking. It should also be about you being able to contribute. So how are you adding value in your organization? Okay, I can see someone said they can't hear me again. Can anybody just respond? I don't know if Babajide is there. Can someone just confirm if they can still hear me? Okay, Babajide confirmed that he can hear me. So, okay, all right. Thank you very much, Temitayo. Thank you for the feedback. So I think we can continue like this. I'm also trying to check because I don't know if you can see me. Okay, I think a good number of people can hear me. Okay, great. Thank you very much for the feedback. So, okay, someone is saying I can't hear Sam again as well. Okay, she can now. Okay, so I'm just trying to be sure that enough people can hear me and I'm not talking to myself. So don't mind me. Okay, so back here, what I was talking about was networking. As much as possible, network in such a way that you are adding value even to other people in the workplace. And also, so what I was saying about knowing who knows what is this. What is the knowledge economy in your organization like? What are the core function? I can't see anyone either. It's only saying I can't see anyone. Okay, I'm not too sure if it is network because I can't see anything from here. Okay, I'll just continue. As long as we can hear me, I think if you have any question, please just mention as well. So what I'm just mentioning next here is networking. Understanding how the knowledge economy in your organization works. What are the information? What are the information, that your organization considers critical in the business? What are the business functions? Okay, I think we are back. People are getting connected back. So what are the business functions really, that contribute value? What do you know about those business functions? One of the things I always post to HR professionals is this. So for example, as an HR professional, if you're networking in your organization, don't just focus on, people in your department or people at the senior level who you often interact with more. I would say, network across your organization. How does your organization even make money? How can you support the core value adding, business functions in your organization such that you build trust with them and you can enable them as much as possible, in your organization. So networking is knowing who knows what and using it to your own advantage while also adding value to them. So these are like one of the key things that help people become superhero professionals because people look up to you based on your access to information, your access to people in your organization, and your access to how you can add value there. So that's the second thing. So the third thing I would mention is self-management to a good extent. And self-management for me goes beyond, a lot of people when they mention self-management, they talk often about time management. But we realize that self-management focuses more on you. How do you manage even your career choices? What are the things that drive, career, your career decisions there? So, I often share with people that there are a few things that guide my career decisions from time to time. regards to the opportunities I take, the conversations I have. So I'm asking myself, how am I adding value with this conversation I'm having? How am I adding value with this, career opportunity? So how am I contributing? That's the first thing that I ask myself. Second thing I ask myself is, how am I growing as a person with this conversation I'm having, with this career choice I'm making? How am I growing? The third thing I'll ask myself is this opportunity helping me learn? So as you are, progressing in the workplace, don't just focus on promotions. And I always say this to people from time to time: don't just focus on promotion. Promotions are not a measure, are not that and they are not holistic measure of checking how progressive your career is. It also speaks to how you grow as an individual. And growth could be in responsibilities. How many people are you supervising? What's your leadership potential in your organization? Learning could be how fast or how well are you learning? What is your learning agility like? Contribution as well is, how are you delivering value? Do you understand what value means in your organization? So self-management is very important. Managing your career choices effectively. Finding out what is the career path like in your organization. So if your organization is one that has specialists, for example, in HR functions, if you are joining as a recruitment associate, if you know that the next level after recruitment associate is probably recruitment officer, and then recruitment manager or recruitment specialist, recruitment manager, head of recruitment, and then as you progress, head of HR. From head of HR, you can probably have other business functions under you, reporting to you as the head there. So what's the critical career path there, in your organization? Another thing that I would mention under self-management, which is very, very important, is how well you manage yourself from the emotional angle. And this speaks often to emotional quotient. An emotional quotient here, well, over time, as defined by Daniel Carnegie, can be broken into 4, which is self-awareness, self-management, which is what we are ruminating around now, social awareness, and relationship management. And self-awareness speaks to how well do you understand yourself? How well do you even as a person understand yourself? How well do you respond to challenges? So there are people in the workplace where probably because of the way they've been culturally raised, they have certain cultural orientation. So for example, if you are raised in a certain part of this country now, you see respect for authority as a major approach regards to asking people or engaging people in the workplace. So it will be probably challenging for you to be able to contribute in the workplace. Probably you're in a meeting that has everyone there is more senior than you are. It's going to be challenging for you to share a contrary opinion, because this comes from a place of self-awareness. If you are not aware that you have those bias even against yourself, because you are lesser in authority, you see yourself as lesser in knowledge. If you are not self-aware of these things, you will deprive yourself of the opportunity to sell even the values you can add in the workplace. So this also speaks to self-awareness. There's social awareness, which I would want to mention next, is how well do you understand people around you? How sensitive are you to changing emotions of people around you? There are people you will work with that you can sense that something has changed around their emotions. You can sense that something has changed about their disposition. So it will also help you understand how to engage them at that time, how to communicate with them, whenever you're engaging them in the workplace. That's it there. Then the third thing is relationship management. So you are aware of yourself. You are aware of the people you work with and people around you. How do you now manage your relationship with them such that you are not hurting yourself and you're not hurting them in the workplace? This is where the emotional quotient side of it comes up. And it also speaks to your ability to also manage your own emotions is very, very critical to how you manage relationships in the workplace. So networking is great, but your self-management is as equally important. What is your work style like? Do you prefer to work during the night? How well have you been able to communicate this in the workplace? What is your productivity pattern like in the workplace? Do you work alone? Can you work in a noisy environment? You need to understand environments that enable you to work and be productive in the workplace. What are the workplace habits you have? That makes you want to probably procrastinate, that inhibits you being very productive. You need to also identify these things from time to time, and how to ensure that you are creating means to overcome them. Procrastination, for example, I know is a very, very big challenge for many people in the workplace. So are you going to have a just do it attitude? Are you going to create a 2-minute rule to say, okay, so I have a personal 2-minute rule. that says that if I can finish this thing within 2 minutes, I will do it right now. If it will take me more than 2 minutes, I will start it right now. So whatever makes me start it, and I go 2 minutes. If I see that it will be challenging for me to finish it in time, I will drop it and give it another 30 minutes and come back to it again and ensure I do it. However, if I see that I can finish it in 2 minutes, I do it right there and then. So we need to have coping mechanisms that help us also, identify poor workplace habits that we might have. We've seen people that are very, very competent at what they do. They know the work, but you have to send them 1,001 reminders. You have to send them 1,001 reminders for them, to be able to deliver on what they do in the workplace. Makes them some little poor workplace habits. So it's very, very important for us to be able to identify this as well. The fourth thing I would mention here is developing a big picture perspective. A good number of us, and I always say this openly for HR professionals, that if you ask an average HR professional, a good percentage will tell you that they don't know how their business makes money. Yes, they might know that their business sells ABCD. They might know their business offers services in ABCD. However, ask them, okay, by delivering this service, how do we make money? How do we rate ourselves on how are we making, even if it's a service, what is our hourly charge when it comes to service? If it's a product, what is the cost margin? What is the profit margin in all our revenue? A lot of HR professionals don't know this. A lot of people, even in the workplace, they don't know this. They just fit themselves into the process that they think that they believe they fit into. So developing a big picture perspective is very, very important to be a standout employee, a superior professional in the workplace. And it goes from understanding what is important to your boss in the workplace. That's where I believe it starts from. Understanding what is important to your company's customers, your organization's customers. Understanding what is important to your colleagues in the workplace. How are you adding value to different people, that fit into the big picture in your organization? These are questions you need to ask yourself. Okay, I think I'll just pause to respond to. I think I have 2 questions here. Ola Okuwabi, pardon me if I murdered your surname. I know Ola is asking, with the new normal, work from home, how can you take advantage? What can you do that can be value added? Okay, not to distract the class, I think, Babajide, we should just have the questions at the end. Are we fine with that?
Yes, at the end.
Okay, great, thank you. So I think I'll just get back to the questions. So if you have any questions, please drop them so we can respond to them. I'm trying to close this conversation as soon as possible. Yeah. So what I was saying there is keep the big picture of your organization in focus as much as possible. Understand where your organization is going. Where are they coming from? Where are they going to? How do you fit into it? How can you add value in the short and long term? This is like the fourth thing that I would want to mention to anybody. Even from what are your competitors doing? Your organization's competitors, what are they doing? You get that's giving them the competitive edge. If you see that your competitor is probably doing something different in regards to how they manage people, can you learn more about what they are doing there? Can you, remodel it such that it works for your organization? These are things we need to ask ourselves over and over to ensure that we are adding value and we are becoming standout employees in the workplace. The fifth thing I would mention here is following and supporting management. An average employee in the workplace, they see 2 people in the workplace, or maybe 3. They see management, they see employees, and sometimes they see HR. So these are like the 3 set of people they see in the workplace. So they see management as the people that make all decisions and collect all the money. So it makes them have some level of it makes them a bit aback with regards to how much they put themselves into what they do in the workplace. So one of the most important things to do to be a superior professional is supporting and following management from time to time. What is important to management of your organization? Okay, what is the organizational strategy? What are they trying to achieve there? These are questions we need to ask ourselves. How can you ensure that you are seeking advice from the people at the top of your organization? How can you also ensure that you are able to influence them, even when you have ideas and suggestions in the workplace? That's what I'm saying. So And it also stems from the last point I mentioned around self-management. You need to be able to sell your idea in the workplace. If you have ideas that support what your organization is trying to drive, you need to be able to sell it. You need to have persuasive communication skills that can sell your ideas. And sometimes your ideas might not even fly. It might require you to do something else outside your own idea. How are you supporting organizations from time to time? If you know that there is someone that is better than you at something that you do you want to bring them on board or give them the opportunity to do that thing and learn from them on the go? You get? So these are like questions you need to pose on yourself. Don't just, they are back. Don't just pull yourself back. See management as some set of persons and see yourself as employees. Support management as often as possible, such that they can see that you are adding value. Position yourself in a way that they can see outrightly how you're adding value in your organizations. You're not just doing a job. That's what I'm mentioning there. The sixth thing I would want to point at is teamwork. I'm sure a lot of us have heard this quote before. Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah. Teamwork is one of the most important things in the workplace. Participating effectively in your team. And one of the funniest things is that when teams are not successful, they see them as a team. They don't see the individuals that put in the effort. That's the thing. When a team is also successful, they see them as a team. So if you are the star performer, if you are, you believe you stand out, you're a superhero already, and your team is not making any contribution, it will be hard for the business to even see you. It will be hard for them to acknowledge what you are doing, because you can't just stand out in a failing team. It's not just so easy. So putting in your best for your team is also very important. Giving yourself to your team from time to time, committing to what your team is doing is very important. Taking ownership. When things go wrong, don't say it wasn't me. It was not my fault. How can you support members on your team? If you see someone struggling with something that you are good at, how can you provide support to ensure that it is your team that is winning? There is no hiding team. If you are winning and every other person is failing, you are all failing. So teamwork is very, very important as well. In the workplace, to become a superior professional in the workplace. The next thing I would want to mention is leadership, and this speaks to self-leadership. How well do you understand yourself in regards to your career trajectory? How well do you understand where you are and where you are going to? What is the sense of direction you have in regards to where you are and where you are going to? These are key questions you need to ask yourself. And there are three things. There are three ways to measure self-leadership in the workplace. The first is your knowledge quotient. How knowledgeable are you about what you do? Are you seen as the go-to person? In whatever field you've chosen, are you seen as the go-to person? That's the knowledge quotient. How knowledgeable are you in regards to what you do? The second thing I would mention under evaluating your self-leadership, is people skills quotient. How well can you influence people? How well can you have a conversation with people and they will believe you? What is even your own integrity like as a person in the workplace? How well do they trust you? And that speaks to your people quotient and people skills quotient. The next now under self-leadership is what is I often call it momentum quotient, and it speaks to your level of enthusiasm. How passionate do people see you position yourself? Do they see you as a person that loves what you do, that you can wake up from your sleep right now and you are so excited about what you do? It's one of the things. It makes it inspires admiration from fellow professionals in the workplace. How passionate are you about what you do? When they pass on a project to you, how excellent, how well do you deliver on them? How do you deliver within deadlines? These are like key questions you need to ask around your momentum quotient. So remember, under self-leadership, identifying your knowledge quotient. How knowledgeable, how well can you identify yourself as the go-to person at what you do? Your people skills quotient. How well can you influence people in the workplace with regards to you yourself as a personality? There are people that we know in the workplace that you've never had a conversation with them, you've never spoken to them, you've never worked with them. You just presume inside your head that they are good at what they do because of the way they've positioned themselves, because of the way you've seen them communicate from afar. So how well can you influence people, even as a person in the workplace? And then the third thing is momentum quotient. how well do you exhibit your level of passion in the workplace? I always tell people that there are two types of passion, in life. There's the passion for talent and there's the passion for excellence. And the passion for talent is the passion that a good number of us, a good number of people out there generally, they have. And it speaks to doing something you are talented at. That's passion for talent. Okay, Cristiano Ronaldo, for example, if you wake him up this evening to take a free kick, there's a very high chance he's still one of the best in the world. So that's passion, for talent. He's naturally good at it and he does it very well. He's passionate about it. You can see that's what he does. And there is a passion for excellence. There are people that, it is precision. If it is not precision for them, it is not giving it the best. They won't do it. That's passion for excellence. They give their best to it at time, at every given time. There. So how well are you exhibiting these three traits under self-leadership? These are like key things that separate average performers and superhero professionals in the workplace. I'm trying to round up the conversation in maybe 5 minutes. I hope we still have enough time to respond to questions. So the 8th thing, if I'm right, am I right?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, great. On the 8th thing here, I know it's one thing many people hate hearing about the workplace, and it is organizational politics. You have to be organizationally savvy. Let me bring context to it in Nigeria. The Nigerian political system, as much as I don't like talking about politics, the Nigerian political system, for example, has showed most of us, and all over the world. I can tell you confidently that the most powerful man in the world right now is not a function of competence that got him into the position he currently holds. It's a popularity contest and acceptance that got him there. So, and that's how the workplace, and the world is generally at this time. You find people in positions that it is not, not every, I wouldn't say it is everywhere or in every position, but you find averagely that people are no longer getting into positions based on their competency, or they are not even advancing in their careers alone based on their competence. It also speaks to how they understand power dynamics that, influence decision making in the workplace. These are like, key things that we also need to consider. How, what the power dynamics that exist in the workplace, how does it favor me? How can I put it to my advantage? It is being street smart. I call, there's something I mentioned some time back, online called situational awareness. And these are situational awareness works. If you find yourself in a computer village, for example, there's a way you will communicate. So for anyone that does not know computer village, it's a pretty rowdy market where you get, tech devices as you may have it. So the way you behave in computer village, you have to be street smart. You have to be aware of what is happening around you, or else you just find yourself missing, or everything in your pocket missing if you don't pay attention. However, if you find yourself in a VI, for example, or Lekki, probably just casually strolling the streets, the way you would see your environment would have changed from when you are in computer village. So it is being aware of your environment and the things that surround and influence people's behavior around there, and can influence even your own performance there, from managing your boss to managing your colleagues to managing even how you are perceived in the workplace. Getting to know the decision makers in your organization, finding a quality mentor in your organization, finding a sponsor. And I'm telling people that when you see people that are considered superhero in the workplace, it is not because they are the best at what they do. And I'm telling you this, for a fact. Yes, they are very good at what they do, but probably not the best. And the reason is this: more often than not, people that advance, in their career, they have someone speaking for them when the doors are locked. In the workplace generally, managers will propose for their subordinates to be promoted, but their panels, their committees that have conversations on promotion in the workplace, for example, how well do even such panels know you? How well do they see the value that you had in the workplace? And you might not know them, but it is projecting the perception you want to be identified with in the workplace that is very, very important. And it's one of the key influencers of organizational politics. Understanding the political divide, building value for value relationships is very, very important in the workplace. You can see a senior, for example, maybe a very senior person in the organization, and you see that this person is probably struggling with something that you are good at. It could be social media, it could be, writing, it could be presentation skills, it could be anything, it could be tech skills. How do you think you can add value to them? How do you think you can also leverage on that relationship that you are building, to advance your career in your organization? Trust me, nobody can or nobody will put in more effort into your career advancement as much as you will do by yourself. So it's very important to have a mentor in the workplace, a person that has been ahead of you, that understands the political landscape in your organization, that understands, the business and commercial landscape in the industry or sector that you find yourself, that can advise you from time to time on steps to take, how to position yourself, how to communicate, certifications to take, and the likes. Very important. Then a sponsor is a person that can speak for you when all stakes are down, either positively or negatively. I know this is where people miss out on things. You can't have a zero perception. Nobody can have a zero perception of you. Everybody has a perception of you. They either see you as a latecomer, they either see you as the guy that comes early to work, they either see you as the quiet guy, they either see you as the sharp guy, they either see you as the nuisance, they either see you as... Everybody has a perception of every one of us. So what perception have you registered of yourself in the mind of people that can make decisions, that can talk about you in the workplace? When you are sending email, you have a senior person copy, and then you realize 2 hours later that, you've probably provided the wrong information. How do you handle such? One of the biggest tests of professionalism in the workplace, especially when it comes to super professionals, is how you handle crises, is how you respond to situations as they arise, is how you solve problems. You get? I always tell people that there are about 3 types of people. They said those that know that something would happen, those that see things happen, and those that make things happen. From time to time, make things happen. That's how you build organizational power capital. Make things happen across organizational levels. Go over and beyond in regards to doing your job. Yes. Be very good at what you do. Yes. However, still be able to influence people, even by how you, from the basic things, how you communicate, send emails, position yourself. Which takes me to the last one here, which is presentation skills. Presentation skills talks to, and a lot of people think presentation skills is when you have a PowerPoint slide up on the board, and you are taking them through PowerPoint. Presentation skills speaks to how you talk, how you communicate. It speaks to how you look, and it speaks to how you act. How are you presenting yourself in these 3 dimensions? So how you act, for example, what's your character like in the workplace? When do you speak negatively about people? Are you the chief gossip officer in your office? How do you behave in the workplace? You can't say you want to be a superhero professional, but people cannot trust you with information. There's no way you will advance without people trusting you in the workplace. So it stems from how well have you positioned yourself as credible. How do you act in the workplace? How do you present yourself with regard to your character? The second thing on that presentation is how do you talk? I've seen a lot of conversations online recent times, and how some fraudsters are trying to call people to tell them, oh, I'm calling from this bank, and I want to provide you with some certain information. The government is giving money, and the first thing that I've seen that ticks people off is the way they talk. Their accent is often poor. Their communication skill is often poor. So when you are communicating in the workplace, do people see you as the guy that cannot coherently communicate themselves? Are you a put-off whenever you are communicating with people in the workplace? And communicating alone does not have to do with eloquence. Are you also, do you have some tone of condescension in your communication? If you have some tone of condescension in your communication, for example, you have conflict with your colleagues. You have conflict with people that report to you more often. And when these people have the opportunity to use anything against you, there's a high chance that they will. And that's how you also manage organizational politics. You don't just manage up, you also manage down and manage across. Managing across your colleagues, managing down subordinates, and managing up people that are ahead of you, your boss, your boss's boss, people who are, senior management in the organization. So how you communicate, how you talk is also very, very important in the workplace. And how you dress. I'm sure, I always tell people average that if you meet 2 kind of people on the road, if one is wearing a suit with a tie, he's very neatly dressed, and he walks up to you to ask you that, oh, good afternoon. There's a high chance you'll be receptive of whatever he wants to say than a person that is, that dresses that has dressed agate, or that is not neat in the way they presented themselves. I'm a firm believer of a text in the Bible that says that only God judges the heart, that man judges the appearance. So average, and I'm not sure there's any God with the capital G among us. Yeah. So as long as you are human, there's a high chance you will judge people based on their appearance. And that also speaks to how people judge you. How are you presenting yourself? In the workplace at large, and outside your organization, how are you presenting yourself? So I think I would want to cap it here to close this conversation, so I can take up a few questions. But the thing is, I've mentioned a few things. I think about 8-9 points where I think can make anybody a superior professional in the workplace. It's also very important to pay attention to your personal brand. I can assure you that if you're taking note of all the things I've mentioned, and you've optimally worked at them, you would have a very, very strong personal brand. From self-leadership, networking across your organization, to how you present yourself, to how you network, to how you do your work, how you take personal initiative. People will have a personal perception of you as that guy that goes the extra mile as much as possible. So all of this will influence your personal brand. And today in the workplace, people are not just selling their skill set, they are also selling their personal brand. You see people that averagely, it is not just what they know that got certain jobs, it's also how organizations have perceived them as well. And this is it. There is a funny quote that says that the difference between guguru and popcorn is packaging. And that's just what personal brand can do. It elevates the value of a professional. And all the things that I've mentioned here would, influence anybody's personal brand. Okay, someone is asking, let me just respond to the questions now before I close. To mention the fourth point, I believe the fourth point should be building perspective, understanding the big picture from your colleagues' perspective, your organization's customers, from your competitors, and from your company at large. I believe that's the entire your daily. I believe it is understanding what the fourth point, understanding the bigger picture rather. Okay, so I'll just respond to the questions. Okay.
Sam?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Just before we jump into the question, thank you very much for such a value-packed presentation. I was just taking notes here, and it's been a really great one. Sorry guys, I had little issues with my audio at the beginning, so I just want to quickly mention something which I was meant to mention at the beginning. So my name is Babajide Dada. The principal consultant at Adullam Consulting. Okay, so what we do is we are a training provider, and generally we do HR related trainings, right? So we are also a partner for the Human Resource Certification Institute in the USA. So we train professionals here to prepare to pass these certification exams. I'm sure a lot of you know about the GPHR, SPHRI, PHRI exams, and APHRI. Okay, so that's what we do, and we also do other HR related trainings for people who already hold the certifications to get recertification credits, right? So for joining this webinar, we have a little offer for you if you want to get any of these certifications. So I did a little poll earlier and about the number of years of HR experience that you have, and I think most of the people here have 0 to 2 years. So I guess people that are just starting out in their HR career or have 0 experience. I also see that some people have 2 to 5 and a few above 5 years. So if you're looking to get any of these certifications I mentioned, for example, if you have less than 2 years experience, the best certification that you should take is the Associate Professional in Human Resource International. That's the APHRI. So it's for people with 0 experience who just want to launch their HR careers, so to say. Then there's the PHRI, which is the Professional in Human Resource International for HR professionals with 2 years of HR experience or 1 year experience if you have a master's. So these certifications are globally recognized, right? Having them on your CV gives you, already proves to any employer that you might be a superhero professional, so to say. So they carry a lot of value in the workspace. So first, for joining and staying to the end, there's a free ebook that I'll be sharing right now. For it's called The Rise of HR. So it talks about some of the things we mentioned here about HR becoming more valuable to the organization and not just the cost center and all of that. So that ebook will be shared right here on the webinar. And also, if you'd like to join our next class for the PHRI or the APHRI, which is for people with 0 to 2 experience in human resource, there's a pretty good offer that we have for you. We'll be sharing that too, but that we can take the questions down and I'll speak more on that later. So go ahead, Sam.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Okay, I think I went off video. Don't mind me. I had a drink. Okay, yeah. So
yeah, you need it.
So I can try to pick up my thoughts from where I stopped. I believe I was trying to respond to questions.
Okay, so there's a question here. The first question that came in from Ola Owabi.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the question is, with the new normal, working from home, how can you take advantage, or what can you do that can be value added? So, the few persons I've had conversations with around, working from home. The first thing is ensure your output is measurable. Ensure your output is measurable. And what I'm saying here is, don't just do work because someone has sent you an email to do something. Be able to say, oh, at the end of the week, this is how I've added value in my organization. I've been able to close out on this work. I've been able to start this project. I've given feedback on this, which is part of a bigger picture. To get focus on value adding and not just number of work or tasks done. How have I added value? If your line manager is to ask you, okay, what are the 5 things you achieved this last week? Can you confidently mention them? First of all, ensure that the work you are doing is measurable. That's one. Second thing is to ensure that constant communication is also very, very important. That you can do to add value. Constant communication. Communicating with your manager from time to time to understand the thing is, a good number of us are not seeing each other in the workplace again today. So our communication might not be as expressive as when we have meetings to discuss these things. So there's a need for us to consistently communicate so that we are understanding other people's perspective. Call, ask. If someone has passed the task to you via email, don't just sit on it and start from, where you think you should start from. Understand what value on that, deliverable that they've given to you is. If they've said, oh, do X, Y, Z, and, in their mind, they probably told you ABC. You get their email says X, Y, Z. But what they are expecting from you is ABC. By the time you deliver X, Y, Z, realize that you're having different expectations already, which means you've not added value to them. So it is engaging them, consistently communicating to understand what they mean by value, whatever task that you've been positioned with. The next thing I'll tell anybody that to take advantage of is use this time as well, because we are not commuting to work, especially those of us that work in Lagos, that we spend about 2, 3, or 4 hours, in transit every day. We can instill more discipline and commit to an hour at least of study every day. If it is 30 minutes to read a book and 30 minutes to probably read articles online, it is 30 minutes to take an online course, 30 minutes to read articles online. Just ensure that as often as you are not commuting and you're having more time, to yourself. Yes, I know that work can be more demanding these days because the people of us are at home. But also be committed to yourself as much as you are committed to the work that you do. Commit time to your personal development. If it is 30 minutes, 15 minutes, just commit a bulk of your day, to developing yourself. So don't just focus on adding value at all. Also ensure that you're adding value on yourself and upskilling. What are the new skills you believe are valuable that you can share or develop yourself on before you even return back to work, if you are returning to work anytime soon? So I think I'll leave it at that. Okay, this is a comment. If someone said work style, do you think they will accept my style? Well, to all what I told you, different organizations have different policies that guide how they work. But what's COVID-19? I think the good thing that COVID-19 has done for every one of us is to help us understand the value that we do, the value it adds. That's one. That's also helped us understand. So for marketing professionals now, they are not marketing. And businesses are not making money because they are probably not marketing and nobody's buying. So it helps you understand how marketing professionals impact the revenue of the organization. There are some businesses, there are some professions that might not survive this COVID because by the time businesses resume back to the workplace, they would say, oh, I'm not sure we need a lot of people doing this thing again because we didn't really use them while we were away. You get? So it's going to affect, a lot of professions as well. So what I'm saying is COVID has made it possible for us to be able to work from home at this time. And it has also given us the opportunity to even rethink the career that we are building. Is this career sustainable in the future of work that we are getting to? If it is not sustainable, how can I upskill myself? And coming back to the fact that it has changed how the workplace is, if I have to return to work today, can I convince my manager, based on how I have delivered value while working at home, that my work style can change? That's the question I'll pose to anybody, that wants to understand if it is possible for them to sell this work style thing. I work better in the evening. However, the workplace is designed for morning people. But it does not mean that I'll get to work in the morning and I won't work. But for the organization I work, we have shift pattern, we have remote work, and we have different flexi work models that can adapt, kind of lifestyle that a good number of us are. But if you cannot get such, how can you communicate to your line manager, your boss, to your organization at large, that you can deliver value even while working at home? It would depend on how you have managed work at this time. Yes, you might not get it every day. I'm going to tell you the truth for some organizations, but the few times you get it, it's based on your yeah. I think I responded to that earlier. Such as so if you believe you're taking initiative and you're doing the right things per time without making anybody look inefficient. So the thing is, even if you're a workaholic, there are people that might not have the work rate that you exhibit, for example. But as much as you are also putting in extra, I always encourage people so you don't make others around you to feel less efficient. But when they feel less efficient, they have potentials to want to sabotage your own work as well. So it is important that you also understand the dynamics of the people you work with. Do you want to help them grow? And that's why I mentioned teamwork. Teamwork sometimes does not have to, and if I mention that if you are winning and every other person is failing, everybody is failing. So if you are the best hand on your team and you are standing out and every other person is not standing out, your team is losing. That's what it means. They wouldn't say, oh, it's performing very well, but his team is failing. They will say your team is failing. And it also speaks to how you are helping them develop themselves in the workplace. So helping them develop themselves is important. Encouraging them also to put in extra effort is good. However, if people have chosen to call you names, I'll tell you just keep on adding value. Even if they don't value it where you are, I can assure you in the nearest future, someone will value how much value. How do you package your brand? Okay, I'm not sure I got that, but it says, how do you package your brand? Okay, so the package in parentheses made me laugh, and package is, a lot of people see package as being able to speak fluently, being able to wear a very nice suit, and add all the accessories. It goes beyond that. It goes beyond, and that's why I spread it into 3 things: how you communicate, how you present yourself in person. We're not even going online these days. And the third thing is, how do you act? when you are engaged. So I think the character side of it speaks more volume than even how we look. I've seen people would say, that guy, oh, he's intelligent, but you can't trust him. Oh, this guy, he's intelligent, but I can't do this, I can't do that with him. And that's because they've acted in certain ways that do not align with probably certain values that they're supposed to uphold. So I believe packaging, for example, as you have it in quotes there, starts from you even having the right values and principles that guide how you behave. It could be respect, it could be exuding passion, it could be being ethical, but just ensure that you have values, just the same way organizations have values that guide them. Ensure that you have values that guide how you behave. Ensure that you know how to communicate those values and you know how to present yourself like the values that you carry. It's very important. Those are like the three key things I would want to mention on packaging your brand. And communicate it as much as possible. The work you do, the values that you abide with as well. So the question is, how do I manage situations where I try to work extra? Okay, I think I've responded to that. Ola is asking, what type of upskill or competency can one develop in delivering value? Examples of trainings that are relevant to the new normal, especially with current HR transformation and innovation. My thoughts around, for me, I'm not a very big fan of mentioning skills or competencies in HR. One of the key things for me is in HR, personally, is first of all, be ethical. And being ethical speaks to how well you build trust across your organization. There are so many. If you ask an average employee today in the workplace, their relationship with HR, they will tell you they don't trust HR. And that's because many HR professionals over time. And it's not a function of the fact that they don't know their job or they're not good at what they do. It's often a function of HR has not built trust with them over time. HR has not presented themselves to be credible. So I believe being ethical is one of the key things as an HR professional. And it speaks to how credible we position ourselves, how reliable we are to our employees and to the organization at large. Being ethical is one of it. The next thing I will say is relationship management. I can mention that as a key competency as well. Relationship management is very, very important as HR professionals. A lot of HR professionals are failing at it. And relationship management does not just have to be internal, because that's what a lot of HR professionals see it as. Internal relationship management. It goes beyond your stakeholders. It goes to your junior employees. How are you engaging them? How are you communicating with them? It goes to people that you want to recruit. Hey, a person is not the kind of talent you're looking for today does not mean you should just engage them anyhow. You get an average person that an organization, an HR professional engage, they communicate whatever perception they've built of their organization to at least between minimum of 6 and to 13 people. That's what marketing professionals have said. That HR professionals, for every candidate they engage, they can influence 6 to 13 people. So imagine a person is giving a wrong perception or sharing a wrong perception of your organization to about 13 people. That's free marketing for your organization. So even as an HR person, you're a brand ambassador. So it's very, very important to develop relationship management skills as HR professionals. Yeah, definitely. Know your HR expertise as much as possible. Recruitment and selection, learning and development. And it also speaks to what Adullam Consulting does, which is the certification. I know you mentioned PHRI, SPHR, APHRI. I heard all of that. I believe there's also GPHR as the whole go on and go on. The thing that the HRCI model, that Adullam Consulting teaches, for example, is it teaches core HR competencies across the organization. If you want to be a specialist, if you want to be a generalist, it teaches core HR functions there. So I believe that's another thing that HR professionals should also focus on. Don't just leave it at the normal base knowledge. Read in depth into what the frameworks that build certain HR expertise. The principles that guide certain HR expertise there. Let me just cite an example. In ethical practice, for example, being ethical as an HR professional, I always pose this question that if a soldier should shoot a child, a 12-year-old child, you would say, oh, a soldier is not supposed to shoot a 12-year-old child. However, if a soldier should shoot a child that has a bomb strapped to him or her, that is morally justifiable. And sometimes it is like HR's work as well. If yes, there's a fantastic employee in your organization. However, they've been, convicted. Investigation has showed that they harassed somebody sexually. No matter how good they had, you have to let them go. Or a good employee has committed fraud in your organization. The money from the fraud, they used it, to treat someone in the hospital. They are doing a good thing, they're doing a good thing the wrong way there. And it also speaks to ethical, practices in the workplace. What are the principles that guide, core HR practices? These certifications can also help, expose us to these things. That's what I'm just mentioning on that there. So I think these are just a few things, but I believe when it comes to competencies and upskilling yourself, read more about the HR CI model, and you'll probably attend trainings as much as possible. On trainings that you asked about, I know Adullam Consulting also has some trainings, some core HR specialist training, as you may have it there, from HR analytics, talent development and management, compensation and benefit, total rewards, strategic HR. I know Adullam Consulting has trainings around them, so you can engage Babajide after now for, I believe, the brochure. How do you sell yourself? You are very good at what you do, but can't really tell me about yourself in 1 minute. Okay, how do you sell yourself? So tell me about yourself for me. I have an acronym that works for me. I call it the PEES. So it is PEES. That is what I use. That's the acronym I use just to make it more relatable. PEES. So PES, the P there stands for passion. The first E stands for education. The second E stands for experience, and the S stands for skills. So, and I'll be putting it here. So passion here speaks to, what are you really passionate about? What fuels your energy? So, for example, if I'm telling about myself, I'll say I'm passionate about people development and helping people, identify the gap that exists between their performance and peak performance, between their potential and peak performance. So you have potential to be this. What is the gap that exists between where you are and where you want to be? That's something I'm really passionate about as a person. And if I'm telling you my education, I'll probably tell you a certification. So education doesn't have to be school. It could be certifications you've taken. It could be trainings you've attended. How you've developed knowledge, core concepts that have stood out to you. For example, to me, one of the key concepts I always hold on to is that no matter how fantastic an organization is, no matter how much money they have, the quality of their performance, of the organizational performance, will always depend on the quality of people they have over time. Start a business. If you start 2 businesses today and invest 1 billion naira in each of them over time and give them the same infrastructures, what will be the differentiating factor between these 2 people in a normal business environment? Is the quality of people in such organizations. So it is very, very important as well to understand the key concepts that makes you, different in regards to what you do. So that's why I have a key focus on managing the people in the workplace, because I know they are the core advantage, they are the competitive advantage in the workplace of today. So understand the core concepts that guide what you do. And then experience. Experience speaks to your professional experience. It speaks to your childhood experience. It will be anything, any experience that makes you different. It is very, very important for us to bring authenticity even into how we sell ourselves. Don't just be the next anybody. Don't be the next devouring judge person. Be you. What is it? What are those knowledge that you have? What are those things you know that makes you different from every other person? It's very important to know this. And then the skills. What are the skills you've also developed in your career? That makes you more marketable. That's what I want to respond to on how to sell yourself. Online is really training questions. Yeah, okay. So you talked about employees not trusting HR, which is very common. How do you?
Or that needs personal coaching. Okay, let's take it. We can.
Yeah.
Okay, we just take that last one, then I'll bring us question.
Okay, yes. So how do you begin to earn employees' trust? Are there initiatives one can implement aside engagements? If so, what type of initiative? I don't think it's initiative that helps HR build trust. I don't think it's initiative. First off, HR needs to be very, very transparent in how they communicate. That's my first perspective. Be transparent in how you communicate. If you are saying, oh, we are going to start this next week, if you have a reason not to start it next week, communicate ahead. Don't say because I'm HR, they'll take me like that. Communicate ahead. Be professional as much as possible. Also, HR is the core, I'll say HR is the core culture champion in any organization. You can't say you are HR and one of your core values in your organization is excellence. And you HR, for example, they are always seeing errors in your work. You get, that's how HR builds trust. The basic things, they're not just initiatives. They're the perception you create of HR in the workplace that influences how they trust you. And it comes from your credibility. How are you even good at the things how are you good? Are you good at the things that you're supposed to do? Your core HR expertise. Are you good at them? That's the first thing. Your credibility also speaks to when you say you do something, when you say you implement something, do you implement it? When you can't, do you share and tell employees ahead what has changed? If you say this is a confidential conversation and the person is hearing it from every other person in the organization, you have failed that person. That's how to build trust. Another way to build trust is to genuinely care about your people. There are organizations that if you call the HR of the organization, you can sense that they genuinely care because they will listen to you, even if they can't provide a solution immediately. You can tell that they will take it up and get back to you. Don't tell your employees that we'll think about it. We'll take this feedback to management, and then you do not even take it. If you take it and management says, "Oh no, it's not the right time," give that feedback and tell them the steps you are putting in place, to make their life easier. That's how we build trust. It's not just about initiatives. Trust is built based on our day-to-day interactions and conversations with the employee. How we deliver value to them, how we support them when they need us most, and how we truly show that we care. That's it on building trust. And the last question here, I would say, is you talked about, everyone is talking about the new normal. How do you address conservative culture to adopt the new normal? Okay, so I want to believe conservative culture organizations that are not so expressive in how they communicate. If I am right, I understand your question very well there. Well, I feel the word new normal is becoming overflowed because, hey, we've been having conversations over time that the workplace is going to shift this way it is right now. The only thing that is different is we can't go out or catch up as often as we want to. I don't believe there's anything that will change. The key things people just need to do more is communicate more. It's for organizations to be more transparent. Yeah. If the business is struggling, it's best to communicate it to their people ahead, to let them know that these are the challenges that they are facing, to let them know that these are the steps they are taking, to bridge or overcome the challenges and how employees can come in. I believe those are like the key things. It's not just about the culture at this time. It is the business being transparent and communicating as open as possible to employees on the state of the business and how they need their support, to come out of this, in quotes, trying times for many, many business. It's very important. There's a conversation around VUCA, a VUCA world. We're in a VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And there are certain models that has also been adopted to the VUCA model. So, for example, such organizations need to be versatile, which is also still the V. How can we improve on the business model that we currently have, to still be able to add the value that we were adding before or even do more? Second thing is understanding the business terrain. At this time, it is held telecommunications that are like the top leaders and then retail FMCGs that that are the top leaders in the business that are making profit at this time. If you are servicing customers, can you look at customers in that sector that are thriving at this time? If you're not servicing customers, if it is products you have, what products? I was having a conversation some days back about an event management center, and I was telling the person that a lot of people are spending money staying at home at this time because they are buying data, they are probably fueling their gen, and they are having to manage distractions from at home from people around them. I know. Why can't you convert your big event management center to a temporary workstation where, yes, social distancing is a big place? Just set up systems like workstations about 2 or 3 meters apart and create large workspaces. If your event center can take 50 people working in there, set it up and have 50 people come and work. Have a monthly subscription, a weekly subscription, a daily subscription plan where people can use. So how can you understand how the landscape is changing at this time and adapt to it as fast as possible? That's it on understanding. So the C there is connect. And connecting for me here is where I mentioned communication. Still ensuring that there's transparency and there's communication within people, keeping people engaged in the workplace. Ensure that your people are connected to the vision of the organization, they are connected to the strategy, and they are also still connected to themselves as employees. Because collaboration is very important, that every one of us is working remotely at this time. And the A there stands for agility. As things are changing, how fast are you changing? Let me cite an example now. Facebook, when this whole pandemic started and all of us are not going out again, Zoom, the video conferencing platform, their shares skyrocketed because a lot of people were using Zoom. And Facebook saw an opportunity as well. And you know, their messenger room that used to take, I think, just 10 people before now, they expanded it to 50. And people started trooping into Facebook because everyone has a Facebook account these days. People were just hosting online meetings on Facebook, via Facebook Messenger. And you know, that's another opportunity that Facebook, you know, adapted to. They've seen that things are changing, people's demands are changing, people's requests are changing with regards to video conversations, video conferencing, and a lot of people are discovering even more video conferencing platform at this time. So it is agility, understanding what is changing and adapting fast to what is changing. So I think that helps on your question around how to adapt to the new normal. Let your organization become more versatile, even as you as a person become more versatile. Understand what is changing. Connect more to your organization, to your colleagues, to your boss, to people around you, to the external world. Be business aware. And agility. What is changing? How are you adapting to it? How are you developing new skills? And I think that leaves me with the last question. So thank you all very much once again. Babajide has dropped a few questions. The Adullam Consult. Someone asked a question on Twitter handle. This Adullam Consult, I believe. So thank you all very much once again. I'll pass the baton back to Babajide to close with the session.
Thank you so much. We've gotten more than we bargained for. Thank you for pouring out so much value. Thank you very much, Sam. We really appreciate you. I trust we all have gotten a lot of value from this webinar. Thank you. Let's please appreciate someone in the comment section, please. Let's give him a round of applause, please. Thank you so much, Samuel.
Thank you very, very much for having me.
Okay, like I also mentioned, if you've gotten value, you've learned something new here, please share with us on social media. We put our handles out there. Please share with us the lessons you learned there, and tag you can use the hashtag career conversations, and let's continue. Let's take this these conversations and continue there. Right. So I was okay, Cindy. Yes, lots of value. Thank you so much. All right. So you mentioned like I mentioned earlier about the certifications. You know, one of the things you can also do to set yourself aside apart as a superhero professional is to get this global certification. Right. So from the poll we ran earlier, I can see that that's 58% of us, we do not have a global certification. I know the 41% of the people that have, I can see some of the people that have attended our classes before and they've gotten certified. So I'm sure they are the ones that answered yes. So if you are just starting out in HR, zero experience, there's a certification that HRCI has for you. That's called the Associate Professional, like I mentioned earlier. That's the APHRI. Usually the